So this week's reading started with a story about a boy uh, and that boy's progress in literacy as it was measured through assessments. So yeah, it was focused on this reading was focused on literary assessments. Uh, I've done them using Linkit, and we get NJSLA scores for the students. I like to do things that way, like through Linkit rather than giving them my own assessments. I do give them my own assessments too, but I think that since I make them myself, they're a little bit less aligned with the standards. Uh, Although I will talk about how, in my own assessments, I've been able to assess some of the standards, but I just think that and also the way that they have a system for grading it really works well for me. Uh, so with the NJSLA scores, you can give the students differentiated instruction, right? Group them together based on their abilities, and that way the students who are advanced are getting properly challenged. Students who are like less advanced are still getting challenged, but at the level that's appropriate for them. Uh, and I'm also going to do jigsaw groups. I did it last year. I didn't do it until like the end of the year. And so I actually got to do it soon. That's something I need to make sure I do because I want to get kind of that routine down early in the year. So, maybe, I don't know, I'm sick now. Hopefully I get better soon. And that's something that I'm going to do with them because the jigsaw groups are random. It's designed so that each student is going to be with completely different students, right? So none of the students who they're in their second group, their jigsaw group with, none of those students were in their original group. So all of them get to share get to share from the context of an original conversation. Each of them comes with you can come to the table with unique information, and it allows students at different levels, right? Like they can get their differentiated instruction, right? But then you can also have this interaction between students who are at different levels. And when a student tries to teach something else to a student, they will, they'll learn it better. Uh, Specifically, the kind of differentiated instruction I want to give them is just you know, uh, just more advanced, language, right? And more advanced sentences and more advanced thinking, more advanced writing, right? Like that's gonna be for students who, and uh, you can also look at what particular students what are particular students' strengths and weaknesses. Uh, oh, that's good. Peer-to-peer learning uh, is what I was just talking about. I haven't given any high stakes assessments. Our reading talked about high stakes assessments. I didn't retain anyone last year, right? So I don't. I feel like I don't know what the stakes have been. I mean, students, the summative assessments are it goes on their report card. So, but I haven't retained anyone. Uh, all right. So for the standards, 7.1 LSS. Uh, so when I give the students their work, I give them a do now, right? And they have to copy down the question exactly, right? And with correct grammar, punctuation, and spelling. Uh, and So that practices these standards, and also it sorry command of the system when writing. That is what it demonstrates. Them doing the do nows and writing the questions down. Also, for some of them, there is more of a writing element. They're often asked to explain their reasoning, and so they need to, they need to use reasoning in their sentences. Uh, and uh, I'm planning to have them use idioms. I heard that they were using idioms like next door in English. So that'll be another example of like something that I'm having them write and having them think of that. Uh, Also like used semicolons and things like that, right? Um, I haven't explained anything in terms of punctuation, so that's something that I can do. I can say like, oh, like what is this? Why did I put a comma here? And it's a good way to like engage the students too, while they're writing their do now, and sometimes they're like bored at that time. Uh, and so the next 7 point, well, LKL dot 7.2 is like talks about vocabulary. So I've taught them what a glossary is. They use the glossary. They go into the back of the book. They copy science definitions. So they're learning, these like particular definitions for like, particular domains. And it's like, for example, there are words like concentration and solution that like mean specific things to chemistry, right? That's another thing that like we're getting to, like what is chemistry, what is geology, and what is ecology, things we're going to be learning about. Uh, the vocabulary builds on itself throughout the school year. It like in chemistry, they learn all of these words about substances that are going to be relevant to geology, right? We're going to talk about rocks melting, right? And so they learn about like melting in terms of that meaning like something changing from solid to liquid, right? And so all of like we use like a lot of the chemistry words, and it's relevant in geology, and then both of those also build onto ecology in the spring. So they're keeping like a big library. It's getting bigger and bigger throughout the year, and it's all building, like it's all cumulative, and I really like that about this like curriculum. Uh, I did take a little bit of notes on like the last standard, which was L.VI.7.4. Dot Demonstrate understanding of figurative language. I don't think this is. I think I want to use the first two and not this one. We're supposed to pick two. But I did want to say that like giving them idioms, like I wanted to have them give them a do now that was like use an idiom to describe a substance or an element. And so I'm like I think that that's like a way to address that. I also just wanted to tell the story about how we had a lesson on matter, and the DOL for that lesson was to name something that is not matter. Right? Matter is anything that like any like physical thing, right? Like anything that has mass or takes up space. So they had to think of something that was not matter, for the DOL, and then when I gave them an assessment, uh, it asked them to name something that was not matter, and one of the choices was the abstract concept of love, and like every student got that question right from my assessment, which I was very proud of. Uh, all right, how did that go? Went a little bit long. All right, peace.